everybody, it's Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations. I just saw that Mary is taking the night off. And Scott's playing in the garage and Greg's doing his own thing. So I thought maybe we could start our Boho Squares tonight for a little bit. I'm going to show how I put these together. I was just playing with those batik scraps that I had. And so I just started layering them up, and they're not sewed down, and I just kind of went around like you would for that sewing technique, and I've pinned the fabric down, but I don't want to start sewing them just yet, and I'll tell you why. Because I want to incorporate some of the beaded trim that hangs. So let me see if I can find some of that. Let me pull out some of this trim. Got that I want to use. All this different trim I have. I definitely want to use some of this cool multicolored. But then I've got the beaded trim. And I want to utilize this because in the wall hanging that I have shared bits and bobs of, it's got some beads hanging from here and there, and I want to kind of see where I want to put those. So, and when you go to use this, you have to be careful because when you're snipping your like if I wanted to snip a section off, I have to make sure that maybe I put a little glue at that last strand of beads that are hanging down there, because if you don't, they can come unthreaded and then you'll have beads everywhere. And I just noticed this does have some beads with some variants in it. And what I was thinking, I'd like to tuck this kind of thing maybe up under the edge of some of my fabrics so it hangs below maybe. And I'm going to work on my two blocks in unison. So I thought we could play a little bit with placement on things here. And see, I would snip that off there. So I need to I'm going to put these apart. And I want to put a little glue or something right here to hold that from coming off. And I've got fabric tack. Let's see. I said I have fabric tack. Hang on. Well, let me look in my group. It might have gone to the Netherlands of the trash, because you know how fabric tack will sometimes ooze out. Let's see, what else do I have? E6000 will work too, but I definitely want a toothpick to put it exactly where I want it. So let me grab a toothpick out of the kitchen. Here. You hear a lot of noise in the house. It's the washing machine is running out in the laundry room with towels and stuff, and the pipes kind of slam when they're, shutting on and off for some reason. Thought we had it fixed, but you never know. Hi, Angie. Hi, Laura. Long time no see. So I'm just thought I'd get us started on this. I know it's very impromptu, but I hope people that are interested in doing it will either watch now or catch it in the replay. So I'm going to just put some glue right along there, and I'm just going to set this aside to dry for a bit, and then I can snip it with some craft scissors. All right, and I'm just going to set that toothpick there somewhere. There we go. So we'll set this aside over here to dry a bit, and we can play with some of this other stuff. I also have this black that I could use that if I wanted to. But I think I want just the beaded trim, and I think I'm going to hang it up under the edge of a piece toward the bottom. So if I turn this way, they'll be kind of the same but different. So we could have that blue trim under here as well. And then let's see what else. I'd love to add some of this trim. And on my wall hanging, it has between the sections, they have couched something. I don't know what it is. I'll show you guys. I've got the piece right here. The camera is not going to like it, but I want to show you what I'm talking about. In between the sections here, they have couched a fabric down. You see it's couched on there. So they put like a glob of, it looks like fabric here. And then they just used, it looks like button thread and just did a tack over it. That's called couching. So we might want to do that between some of our squares. And then I got to thinking, I had thought about sewing these pieces down, but as you notice here, I bet they were just stitched on the edge, maybe with a basting thread. So I might baste mine down with a blue thread that would kind of blend away. And I could also cover it with something couched here between the rows. And on my community tab, there's all kinds of pictures of this wall hanging. So I think I'm just going to grab some blue thread and baste some of these fabrics, except for where I want to add the beaded dangly trim at the bottom. I'll leave that. And then I thought, you know, on mine, I got to thinking how fun it would be to do the embroidery following the patterns that I have on some of the pieces, like maybe go around the circles on this one, and then on this one do some embroidery over the actual viney grass pieces, and then maybe do a paisley on here, just draw it on with a pencil and then stitch around it. So I have all kinds of slow stitch ideas on a board on Pinterest, and I know Heather Nolan also has been collecting ideas for this. So I'm guessing tonight what we'll focus on is getting our pieces that we want to attach to our base. We'll focus on getting them basted down tonight, and then Wednesday we can start. Maybe we'll learn some stitches together out of the book I just got for my birthday. So and this will get you guys started. And I think I'm going to use some of this thread that I bought at probably either Joann's, Hobby Lobby, or Hobby Lobby, because they're the ones I go to more often. But if I look, I have some variegated threads in about these colors, like that one would be okay, and maybe this one, and do my basting with something like this. Or I could baste it just with some sewing thread in a blue. Maybe that would be better. And then I'll save my embroidery thread for when we're doing embroidery. That makes more sense. Just a couple ideas. If you want the stitches to show, you can do it with embroidery. I kind of want this basting to kind of go into the background. So let me see. Excuse me. I got this thread, and it's light blue, and I've got a needle in one of these spools that I was using for basting. Of course, I can't see it now. I'll get my hand sewing basket, and we'll just get another one out of it. So I'm going to start basting some of this fabrics down so I can get the pins out of the way. And we can chit chat for a bit while we work on this. This is a project I just thought up. And the reason I'm doing 2 blocks is I want to keep one for myself, and I want to swap one with someone. And if there are others that want to swap one, I can match up partners, and we would just mail directly to Sleep. Also, Angie, I think everybody might be hanging out at Keisha's because she's doing her sale tonight. And I didn't see anybody else on, but I did see Keisha on. So we got a little hedgehog here. He holds the pins. There's the little hedgehog. And we made him at one point on my channel. You love to do couching. I need to do more needlework stuff myself and learn new things. Now that is stuck in there. Good. Let's see. I've got some snips here. I'll just snip this off. I finished my 20 granny hexagons for this week for the project with Lucas Yarns. He's doing he's actually doing the granny square blocks, but I decided to do hexagons. So that's what I've been doing. Today I actually stayed in the recliner all day and just kept dozing off. Okay, good night. Hope the chores go smooth for you. This is, like I said, very impromptu, because I noticed Mary posted that she'd see us Sunday night. So, and I'm itching to get started on this. I'm hoping everybody will forgive me for kind of jumping the gun, getting started tonight. And since Scott went out to the garage, he's actually put a internet booster out there so that we can pick up the internet out in the garage. So maybe we can do some lives out in the garage at some point. And yes, I'm tying a knot, even though this is just basting. All right, I'm not going to sew this one at the bottom because I want to tuck that beaded trim in. So I'm going to start at the top up here. And I'm just going to baste around the edges, do a running stitch. And I am going through this canvas, so running stitches might not be as easy as they normally would. So if I take a little one on top, a long one at the back, that way it won't be as visible on the top side. And we'll be covering a lot of this up with embroidery stitches. I think I'm going to stab and pull that one to the back and then go back up because I don't have enough room to actually turn on the corner here. And I didn't tell Scott I was going to go live because I didn't know I was until I saw Mary wasn't on. It's gotten quite warm here. I told Scott this weekend we need to stay home and do some projects around the house instead of going off thrifting. No matter how much fun it is, we got to get some things done around here. I'd like to get some painting done out in the bonus room and set Greg up a regular little den and move his TV out there and that kind of thing. And clean up his bedroom so maybe he could actually move around in there. Where they overlap each other, I'm just going to, when I get to the inner parts, I'm just going to go through all of the layers. So I won't have to go around every single spot. Right now, I'm just going to go to here, and then I'll jump onto this one and maybe go down and go through both this fabric, and the canvas. Because I'm just kind of tacking this down, basically. So I can move the pins, so I quit doing that. I don't know. She just said she'd see us on Sunday. She didn't say. And I'm not going to guess. I was hoping she might pop in here, but maybe she's tired and gone to bed early tonight. And since I missed Monday morning, I thought this would give me some time to maybe do a little something and get caught up on here. Oh, Scott's back in from the garage. Does it work okay?
It does.
Ouch.
So in one of our
Ray.
previous hauls, I picked up some internet over power line adapters. And I gave them a try and threw an extra router out into the garage, and I have Wi-Fi in the garage now. That was very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Let me check my little box, see what we pay for that.
It wasn't much.
No.
$3 maybe?
$3 or $4.
Oh, that stitch got a little bigger because I was talking to Scott instead of paying attention to what I was doing. Yeah, it's a kind of a small room tonight. I got 3 people in here. I guess everybody else is doing something else tonight. And that's okay because there's always the replay. And it is a Friday night, so people might be busy, with their families and such. Ow! I'll be glad to get this all tacked down so I quit stabbing myself. $6.99.
$6.99, but it is actually what's 4 of these adapters in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Instead of just 2 like the box says. So.
Maybe they threw the other box away.
Maybe. I'm quite pleased with it.
That's good.
Well, I'll let y'all get back to what y'all enjoy.
Well, I didn't know how long you were going to be out there, and then I went looking for Mary, and she wasn't on. So I said, I'll jump on and get us started on our boho blocks to swap. Hi, Dar. Hi, Lori. So I'm just kind of tacking these on. And again, I'm not going to sew the one that's got like the grass looking stuff on it and down until I can tuck the beaded trim under the edge. And I saw that Angie said she likes the black beaded trim. And I can add other beaded trim later if I want to. That wall hanging I have, it has beads hanging all over it. And I did post a bunch of close-up pictures for inspiration purposes on my community tab of that wall hanging that we got at that little thrift and gift shop in Swansea. All right, let's see here. This might actually stay pinned now, so I'm going to take that pin out. I can always put a pin back. Hi, Janet. How are you tonight? Oh, a reminder, you guys, tomorrow's the craft and chat through Shelley that we all bought through the auction for Janet. So I thought I'd remind everybody that is tomorrow. Put it on my calendar, and I said, I don't want to miss that. So I will be there at noon. And I think we'll all have fun. I don't know how long I'll stay, but, I'll be there about noon. I have some lightweight cotton batiks on top. And then you can use, I have a piece of canvas that I just had around. But if you wanted to give it a more padded feel, Allie, you could use a piece of like cotton batting or even just a plain cotton. You just want some kind of base. If you have an old pillowcase that's torn, you could use a piece of that. I just like to have a base under something like this when we're going to add beads and you know, something to give it a little body. And then what my plan is I plan to put one of these and then one from, if we do the swap, and put them in a frame together. Yeah. So I could have me and a friend hanging out and add it to my art wall behind me. And my idea is, because we'll have dimension, I'm really leaning toward looking at buying a, what do they call it? Shadow box for it. I have used a piece of canvas, but you can use batting. Or if you've got an old pillowcase that's falling apart, just something to give you a little bit on the back. I'm using canvas because that's what I had real handy, and I'm trying to use from my stash wherever possible. I also had cotton batting. The batting will give it more of a, like a quilted feel than the canvas. The canvas is going to give me a more structured piece. But when I put these in a shadow box, I'll use T-pins and pin them at an angle into that backing that comes with a shadow box to hold them up. I also thought we might want to crochet some little flowers to add to these. And that brings something back to mind to me. If you don't follow Whimsy's Gardens, I think that's her channel. I'll go back and put it in my description to make sure I'm telling you the right. But she's been working on a piece of an embellished piece like this, and she's used buttons and crocheted flowers and all kinds of stuff on hers. And that would be another place to go for more ideas. Let's see if this is dried enough that I can take. Yeah, I put a little E6000 just so when I snip right here, these beads here don't fall off because they are just stitched along the ribbon. So let me grab this real quick, and I'll cut a piece of it off right here. All right, so my idea is to stick this up under the edge of these two here. If I can get it to behave. I just want us all using all these fancy beaded trims and things that we have in our stashes that we just keep ignoring and buying more of. And the whole reason I thought about this is we were out thrifting and I almost picked up more. So yes, it's time to use it. You're welcome. So I'm just going to pin this on here. There we go. There's that one. Bear with me. That's the bad thing about me doing this in the evening. I am all thumbs in the evenings. Put it in, pull it back out. I just want to hold it in place with a pin real quick. Ouch. Say razzle dazzle. There you go. And I like that hanging down like that. I might quickly do the basting there because I just have a short piece left here anyway. So I'm going to baste this edge here. And I'm doing the where you do a short stitch on the top and a long stitch at the back so that you don't have a bunch of huge stitches on the front. That's the bad part about the beaded trim. Your thread will get all tangled in it, so you have to go slow and easy. All right, that was a little stitch. Then I'll come up here about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch down. And I'll come up and then go back to the back. I'm going a little bit closer because I'm sewing through that ribbon to hold the beaded trim on. All right, I can pull this pin out because that's not going anywhere now. Oh dear. Dar says Aquaphor is good. I once had an Indian from like India tell me that when your hands hurt, he said, plunge them from really hot water to really cold water. That's what he told me. I have never tried it because the thought of going from really hot to really cold just sounds painful to me. But, you know, who am I to say that it's not a good idea? But I myself thought it sounded extra painful. Uh-oh, I've caught some. Let's see if we can pull this back out here. We are going on an adventure, not today, of course, but next Friday. We are going on an adventure. It's something we used to do all the time. So we might have to, we're just going for the day. We used to go and stay overnight, but we're not taking anything to sell this time. But we're going to the Antique Wireless Association meet up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, that has crept down on me, but I think it'll still be okay because I can hide the ribbon later in some other kind of embellishment, like put a little different ribbon or some of this encrusted stuff that I have. It is harder to base this beaded trim down than just flat pieces of fabric. That's for sure. For sure. I need to go back and listen to the rest of Barb Owens' cruise. I had to leave and go over to Shannon's because I mod for Shannon, and she was on at the same time. So I got to watch the rest of Barb. I guess I could be doing that right now, but I wanted to get started on this. So I'm just going around the edges of these. And where they overlap, I'm going through all the layers. So I won't be able to tuck anything else under. But this is now stitched on pretty good here. And I've got that. That is on there now. I'm going to go ahead and tie this off and get a fresh piece of thread. And this is what it looks like on the back. been trying to think how we could sign our work on this, because if we sign on the back, see, I can write on this canvas. I could do that. But I also thought I might need to maybe stamp my, I don't know if it would work, but I have a stamp that Mary Hill got for me that says something handmade by Aunt Beck's Creations or something. There's Heather. Yeah, I decided to come on since Mary was taking the night off and get started on this. And I just tucked this beaded trim under the edge of this piece. And now I'm just basting, just doing a basting with regular sewing thread just to get me started on this. And see how the lace is exposed there? And in that case, I could maybe take some of this lace or ribbon and just cover that like so. And then you wouldn't see that lace sticking out, or the ribbon that the beads are attached to kind of worked its way out on me. And I'm not going to fret over it. Either I can cover it with something like that, or I can put embroidery stitches on it and cover it that way. But I figured this would get us started. I don't know if I'll get both blocks stitched, but I thought we could hang out. And there's Marty. Hi, Marty. Everybody's finding me live. I'm alive. I'm alive. Get us another piece of thread here. And I know the UK folks are probably sound asleep. I'm just wide awake because I slept almost all day. On and off, I just kept falling asleep. I could not stay awake for nothing today. Nothing. Not a lick. Oh dear. Come on. Get over here. Boop. You're folding laundry so you can go to bed? Don't tell, but I've had a load of laundry in the basket for like 3 days now. It's not going anywhere. It's sitting there waiting on me. All right, I'm going to start toward the middle here. I will get it. I put a load of towels over just a little bit ago. And I figure I'll catch everything will get caught up eventually. So once I get these stabilized and on here, then we can think about what kind of embroidery we would like to do. See, I'm thinking I might like to embroider just along these little sprigs of grass or whatever they are, just embroider on those. Trying to think of what stitch I'd like to do. My sister Robin gave me a gift card to Hobby Lobby to purchase some fabric for Project Dress-A-Girl dresses. And so today I sent her a message and I said, hey, I said, would you like to go to Hobby Lobby with me and pick the fabrics out? Because that was her plan. But she said she got in Hobby Lobby and she had no idea how much fabric I would need for a dress. So she said, sure, but she can't do it this weekend because she's got a pile of exams to grade. I think they're coming up on, she's got to have grades turned in. So she said she'd be busy this weekend. And I said, look, there's no rush. I just thought you might like to go with me since that was your plan anyways, to surprise me with the fabric. So this will work too. Let's see. I might tie that off and start afresh, because I don't care how many knots I have on the back. Mine's going in a shadow box. Nobody's going to see them once I put them in a shadow box. I just thought this would be a fun project. Joyce has come in. Welcome, welcome. I definitely want to use this with the multicolored little rhinestone things in it. I'm trying to think, what could we use for the couching in between the squares? Do we want to do the couching? I think it would look cool and give it some dimension. And I want to crochet some flowers, and I might do that as a separate video. If anybody wants to do some thread crochet, I will do a separate video for that. So you could add those to your piece. Because basically anything you can do with yarn in a larger form, you can do in thread as long as you downsize your hook as well. So I'll look up a pattern and I'll work one in yarn and then I'll work one in thread so you guys can see the difference. I might do that as a standalone because it's hard to do that kind of thing live. All right, this is about done here. When you're doing your basting, the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I'm noticing it on my piece, is don't pull too hard on your thread or you'll get something that's wavy. I think I've got a cat. Yes, Howie. You want to come in? He's like, yeah, I'm standing here. Come on. I know the neighbors put up new party lights in the back. Is that spooking you guys out? I watched our neighbor Kirk. He's hanging out some new lights so they can sit out at the pool. It's nowhere near warm enough for pool, but they're ready. Well, they're not going to see the back anyway. It'll be mounted in somewhere. But I am trying to think of how I could add my signature to my block. I could put it on the back, but if we put it in a frame or a book, now see, I did that backwards, but I'm not going to worry about it because we'll cover that up. I need to do that short little section. And I pulled it a little tight. I would normally just pull that back out, but I'm not going to bother. This is just basting. I'm not going to freak out about it. But I do want the edges down. I might sew both of them. We'll see. Oh, and there's Callie at the door. My sister has a doggy doorbell. Have y'all seen those? and it plays a different tune. She got it for her Great Dane, so the Great Dane won't, bang against the door. She rings her own doorbell. I think it's hilarious. All right, we can turn the porch light off now, and I always turn the wrong light off. Sorry, guys, put you in the dark there for a minute. But I thought I kept hearing something. I said, something's ringing. And Robin laughed, and she said, that's Blue's doorbell. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't realize I was ignoring the dog. I don't have one of those. This is my thought, is I have that stamp, and I know that Stays on Ink will stamp. So if I got another piece, I had some scraps of this canvas anyway. If I stamp my little stamp, let me see. This one here that's all gummed up with tissue right now. It says, what does it say? Handmade by Aunt Beck's Creations. It's getting a little messed up. But I thought if I stamped that and then made it like a flag to hang off the edge, like it would go right there, that would be on there, and that has a cat on it too. So I might do that, or I might just hand stamp out one letter at a time, Aunt Beck. And then I've got some number stamps somewhere I could do the date with, but we'll see. All right, where did I put the needle? That's not good. I got Howard jumping up here. All right, time for another piece of thread. So this side is all done now. So now I got to do this side. Wouldn't that be cute to have the little flag out the side? So if you guys want to work on your piece and do this and get all your pieces basted onto your squares, on Wednesday, we will do some embroidery. And I was thinking we could do maybe 2 squares a week and do some kind of embroidery in it. But of course, I know a lot of you, once you get started, you'll just go off on your own. So I don't know how far you want me to work along with you. Now I can't see. My eyes aren't focusing. There it goes. But I thought it could be fun to maybe learn some stitches together. And if we did 2 a week, that would be, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about 3 weeks, we could have this done. But of course, if you want to go and just look at things on Pinterest, if you want to run with it, just run with it. I just wanted to give you guys ideas. So we can either learn stitches together, or you can do a combination of learn something with me and then take off and freeform with yourself. That's fine too. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's start up here. Right here. I don't need this pin anymore. And more things to pull out if you weren't here at the beginning. Whimsy or Whimsy's Garden. Again, I'll put a link to her channel. She's, I think, in Australia. And she's the one I got the idea. I want to get some old teapots to hang in the tree for the birds to make nests in, because it looks so cute in her garden. But she's also been doing a heavily encrusted piece that looks really cool. Callie, stop. You just came in. Daddy doesn't like you digging on the house. I'm going to have to let her back out because she'll keep digging on it. They've already ruined the door jamb wood. All right, go on. I turned the light off now. She'll be freaking out to come back in next thing. I wonder if I can use the last of that beaded trim on this one. If I put it I'm getting squirrel. I've gone on off the side here. That might fit under here on this one. Okay, that has a knot right there, so I could just cut that off. And I'll just use the rest of that on this one. Just like that. And that will use that piece of trim up. Let me get a couple pins. Oh, Angie's been making some of her bowls. I need to get a birthday package in the mail. Somebody's birthday's next week. Come on. There's that one. Bear with me. I want to get this pinned. Howard's pulling a nail off. Why do they pick when I'm live to do that kind of crazy stuff? All right, that's pinned. That'll remind me that that needs to go there. They're wanting to know if you're still selling with Keisha, and she says no. Everybody got their taxes done? We did. We got ours done. At least for another year. All right, that blue fabric is not going to go anywhere, so I can lose that pin. I just think doing the embroidery would be easier with all of the base fabrics, you know, tacked on, even if it's just some long running stitches. This isn't taking too long. I'll do this other one and then I'll be all basted up and ready to go. And then I'll do a video on crocheting a heart. Not a heart. Well, we could do a heart if you guys want to. A heart and then some flowers. Crochet some tiny flowers that maybe you could put some tiny buttons for their centers. I was thinking of yellow flowers because I know where there's some yellow crochet cotton at hand. And I also have that multicolored thread that I could use that I just picked up to make flowers with. This is not going to go anywhere now, but I do need to come up here and base that top of that square. And that's what my back looks like. And I think I caught this again. That's the bad part about the beaded trim dangling down. But it's down there now. I just have to be careful about it. Oh, I'll just tie it off. And I was also thinking of doing a kind of chat on Fridays for a couple hours, like we do on Thursday in Anne's group, but because we don't have that room anymore, the room ability, Facebook, stinkers, I I would have to know if you were interested in coming for a couple hours on Friday. So from like maybe 10 to noon, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern on Fridays. If you're interested, just let me know. And if we're friends on Facebook, I can just add you to a chat for on Fridays. Okay, none of this is going to move now. Yay. And I have just a short piece of thread here that I can quickly stitch that other bead row down. And Angie's asking about Stephanie. There's Deborah. Hi, Deborah. How are you tonight? It's after 9 o'clock. Usually the cats are trying to get me to go to bed by this point. All right, so that one's done. It's all basted. I've got some beads hanging off the bottom. So that's what it looks like on the front. You can hardly see those stitches. And by the time we encrust this up with stuff, you won't be able to see that, because now we could come in with some, some of this other trim. Maybe add a little bit of this. This is crazy stuff here. You might want to fold it back a little bit. And I could stitch that on, but see how much that covers up? I don't know if I'll use that or not. And it's got beads all in between and everything, so I might not use this one. This is a really old packaging from Joann's. I must have had this from when I worked at Joann's. That's been a long time ago now. Long time. But maybe some of this on like the side of that purple would be pretty. But get your trims out and just, what is that called where you try them out? I always forget the name of that. You could even divide some of these blocks up into a couple different areas like that, and or this way. Might do that on this one. And just know that when you snip the trims and stuff, you're going to lose, some of the beading wherever you snip. So you might want to put a little bit of glue right about where you're going to cut. Put a little glue on the sides, either side of where you're going to cut. So you glue that thread that's holding your beads on. I really like that right there. So let me base this square, and then I'll come back and I might base this down on there too. Just get us building. All right. Let's get this basted on the beaded trim on this other one. Yay, good. Good. So I got this harebrained idea to use up some of the trims I already have in my life and in my stash. And that's where I came up with this whole boho kind of like a tile. It's really a fabric tile. I guess we could call it a boho fabric tile project. I like that. All right, I'm going to take this pin out so I can work the needle here. And again, I'm taking a long stitch at the back when my brain will remember that, and a small stitch on the front. So the trim and everything's just basically tacked here and there to hold it in place. I would normally be about to fall asleep, but as I said earlier, I have slept most of the day. This has apparently been in glue because it really hangs up when I try to put it through fabric. So Scott's got it set up to where he can play in the garage and get the internet, which also means that we'll be able to go live from the garage so much easier. I still haven't showed you guys the shelf that Scott built for himself. I haven't showed that to you guys. We got to get that room cleaned up out there so we can do a tour of Scott's space. So we have lots of things to do around here that if we would just stay home and work on it, it would be great. So that's the plan for us this weekend. I really should have gone to the grocery store today. At some point I should have gone, but I just didn't even feel safe to drive. I was so groggy. It was just weird. Really, really weird. All right. So the beads aren't going anywhere. Check it out and see how it looks. But there's a name for it. I can't. My auditioning. That's it. You're auditioning something. Just like actors come and audition. Your trims audition. Becky, how do you sew on seed beads? I don't have any needles thin enough. Oh, I have beading needles. You have to get them in the jewelry section, I think, or actually, Joann's has them in the regular notion sections, but they're labeled beading needles. But like, I don't know if this one would go through it. I have some sewing needles that are real thin too. I just keep trying until I find one that'll go through because I do want to use seed beads. Having worked at both Joann's and Michael's, I did almost 10 years with Joann's and 5 at Michael's. I have a collection of everything, anything and everything. But yeah, you definitely, for the seed beads, you have to get a beading needle. Unless you have something else that'll go through it. Oh, they're still not small enough. Wow. You must have some really small ones. Just shove the thread through. Oh, that would be so time consuming. And then how would you get it through the fabric? That you would have to thread the needle, put it through the fabric and unthread it and put some more beads on. Whew. Time consuming. All right, I might have to adjust some of this stuff here because this needs to come over farther. And then if I bring this over farther, then it's overlapping some. All right, so I'll go around the one in the middle and then start coming out. Hi, Renee. I hope today has gone well for you. But my idea to get together on Fridays in my group for just a couple hours is so if anybody had any questions or, that we just maybe work on our blocks together for a couple hours on Friday. Because Fridays, I have things I have to do on Fridays. But I thought it would give us an opportunity for anybody that was free and available that we could get together in there and work on our blocks some and bounce some more ideas off each other. This is hard to do, and because I have to lift my arms up so high, I have a feeling my neck's going to be sore after this. Uh-oh, I've caught one. I've caught one again. I am leaving the raw edges because by the time we do all this embroidery and add trims and buttons and all that kind of, this fabric's not going anywhere. So I'm just leaving raw edges. And again, my piece is not going to be handled. It's going to be inside a frame. I want to frame this up. And I'm going to put it in a shadow box so that, you know, it doesn't get dirty or anything. It's really warm in here. I've been turning the air conditioner on just a little while before bedtime to remove the stickiness from the humidity, and to we have a whole house filter, which I think we are overdue our checkup and a new filter, but it'll clear out some of the allergens and help us sleep. Those suckers are expensive, those filters for the whole house. $175 or something like that. But they work. So I guess it's a trade-off. Well, mine's going to be all hand stitched. You could do this on your sewing machine if you wanted to, and just use your embroidery stitches on your sewing machine. But the whole reason I'm doing it is to incorporate all these fancy trims I have in my stash that they're just sitting there, and I need to use them. I know some people will put them on cards and stuff, but with the way the post office is now and how those machines tear stuff up, I wouldn't dare put this in like an envelope or anything. Mine will probably get mailed in a firm, one of those firm envelopes, you know, the ones that are like cardboard, or a small box, just to keep it. After I put in all the work, I'm not going to want to, you know, put them in an envelope to get destroyed. And no question is, you know, the only dumb question is the one that's never asked, because you never get an answer, right? Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. I seem to be catching the heads of every pin, grabbing one of the beaded trim. So yeah, mine will be all hand stitched. And I will definitely have to take breaks because sewing through this canvas is a real workout. I'm basically basting these on is all right now. And I could probably take this out now because that's not going anywhere. Howard looks so happy. Look at that little face. Sorry. He's my heart, that one. He was the first one to say, yes, you can adopt me. Because my 3 cats are all from the same litter. So they're brothers and sister. I was getting such a hoot out of your cat on Thursday, Heather. She just kept peeking and looking in. It was so cute. Hi, Teresa. 6-ish by 6-ish. They don't have to be exactly that. If you have trouble hand sewing, you can use your machine and use your fancy stitches. but mine will be all hand stitched. I keep thinking about that thread I was telling you guys about. I don't know, did I say that in a live video, or was that in Thursday's craft and chat about the yarn I saw in the packs? It was some kind of a thread type yarn, and it was from like Norway, and it was in all these earthy colors, and I just keep thinking about it. I did go back to that other Goodwill and check on that Afghan I was telling you guys about, but somebody else got it, or they pulled it to go to the bins. After it's been there for a while, the stuff goes from the regular Goodwills to the bins, and from the bins it goes to the dump. So they don't hold on to that stuff forever. But I just keep thinking about that. That was the other night. I don't think I talked about it on here. I think that was Wednesday night. Scott said, "You want to go thrifting?" So we went thrifting because he's back to teaching. So he's not available on Tuesdays. But I did go by myself on Tuesday. Oh, I did pick something up Wednesday when we went thrifting. I got a Crisco cookbook. I don't think I showed that to you guys. And then we got something else. What did we get Wednesday? I got that cookbook. Oh, and just a plastic bowl that I can put water in for the cats out on the porch. That reminds me, tomorrow I need to give them fresh water out there. Technically, cats need fresh water every day because they need the way the spigots on your sink aerate it with the little thing on the end. It puts those bubbles. They need something that's been aerated, which is oxygen, puts oxygen in the water. Stale water is really bad for cats, so you should change out their water at least once a day and give them fresh. Poor Bernadette, she had to stay out in her doghouse because it started pouring rain, and I was not going to bring her in when it was pouring rain because then she'd get all wet. And a wet dog, ugh. But I brought her in and she had supper. She's probably wondering where I am because I usually bring her in at 9:30 and it's almost 9:45 now. It's really late for you, Heather. Aren't you in an hour ahead of me? I know Ruth is, and she's out Nova Scotia way. Ruth Lamb. Hadn't seen Ruth in a while. I hope she's okay. I saw our Rose that used to come to chat all the time. She was posting a lot of snow out in Colorado. Big mounds of snow. I was kind of shocked. How much snow? Angie left. Oh, good night, Angie. Yeah, I've been thinking about one of those pet waterers that has the filter in it that you plug in and it recirculates it around for the critters here in the kitchen. Those are expensive too. They have in the kitchen, the water dish in there has a filter, but I cannot rely on it to keep them in water because sometimes it doesn't let down and the water will be there, but they can't get it. It won't let down. So I have another pan of water in the back bathroom that I switch out every day. We're getting there. Let's see. I need to finish stitching this down here. All right. I'm wasting a little bit of thread, but there's no point in me trying to sew 3 stitches with that. Thank you, Janet. So I know Anne's off with her friends for St. Patty's Day this weekend. So she won't be on Sunday night, she said, because they're doing St. Patrick's Day together before her friends move off. So we'll have to find something else to do on Sunday. And I'm going to try very hard to be on Monday morning at 6:30. But this past Monday, I don't know. I think it was the time change just messed me all up. Well, I'm going to sign off as soon as I finish basting this on. I keep toying with the idea of going ahead and basting that trim on before I leave too. And then I can post a picture of what we did tonight. I'm just trying to get this where you guys can still see what I'm doing and I can maneuver it. Uh-oh, pulled it too tight. It's not feeding through evenly. There we go. Let me see if I can get the spin out of the thread there a little bit. This is not going anywhere. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I'll go up this ways. So I don't know if this is enjoyable to watch, but it's what I thought, hey, we could get those basted down and we'd be set to go on Wednesday with doing some stitching, which means I'll need to do the video on doing some little flowers with thread. I might have to make up a bunch of those so that I could send a couple flowers out to anybody that's participating. I don't know if I'll make little badges again, but I think I could make up some little flowers and then you could attach them to your piece if you wanted to. I'll have to think on that. See who all's playing. I know Heather and Mary are, definitely. They're just random sizes, and I have 7 pieces on here. But if you don't want to do like all squares on my wall hanging, there's some triangular shapes. Nope, I'm going to leave the basting stitches in here. They're just going to be covered. You're not going to see them anyway. You're going to try to. So Allie's going to try to. I'm leaving these basting stitches in. I'm going to bring you guys closer because it's getting hard on my shoulders to have it up on the table so far. So a little stitch at the front and a big stitch at the back. So there's hardly anything really showing on the front, and it kind of blends in. Uh-oh. Come on. Here comes the Howard monster. Hi, Howie. Yes, buddy, I love you. He's not digging on the door. He's digging on the kitty digger like he's supposed to. He's being a good boy for a change. He's usually the one that's the most guilty about digging on non-kitty things. You want to go out too? Of course you do. All right, so this isn't going anywhere now. Let me let Howard out on the porch real quick. In and out on the porch. Woo! Stink bug. Oh, I hate that they're coming in. Go outside. Stink bug sneezing. They look so prehistoric. They're so disgusting. I hate them. That's one thing about South Carolina. Lots of bugs. If you don't like bugs, don't come here. All kinds of creepy critters. You love the boho look? If you don't have batiks, if you just have like solid colored fabric, you could just pick out some that look kind of like batiks, like some rich purples and deep blues and that kind of thing. You could do that. I just had the batik scraps from that quilt. I need to finish that quilt too. I was going to do that over the winter. But that didn't happen because I got sidetracked with other projects. It's like, oh, you're doing that? Okay, I'll do that. Oh, you're doing that? No, stop it. Do the projects you have. That's what I keep telling myself in my head. Finish the ones you've already started. So you have all the nice things yourself. I'd love to have that quilt done so I could use it. The only one that's going to get it done is me. One of my online quilting friends has got some very serious health issues going on. If I had some extra money, I would definitely donate to her cause. She was having ear pain, and it turns out her spinal fluid is leaking out into her ear region and causing her extreme pain. So she needs a procedure that's quite expensive. Sounds terrifying to me. That would freak me out so bad. All right, let's see. I think I just have to go here. That ain't gonna do it, but we'll see how far I get. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's okay, Renee. This is just a piece of like drop cloth canvas that I had laying around. And I know Ann Lahr has used this. I think she used this to make the tea cozy that she did. And she did a bunch of stitching on it. That she used it as her base fabric when we did a painted fabric last year or the year before. And she turned, and I was so proud of her. She is a novice at sewing too, and she made herself a tea cozy. And it turned out so cool looking. This might tack this down enough that I wouldn't have to do much else. So some other things, because of Whimsy Garden, and then the board that Heather's put together, there's a bunch of different ideas to add to your piece. Get out metal pieces, like if you've got metal charms and stuff, they could be cute added. Or buttons, pearls and that kind of thing, whatever kind of beads you have. Gold thread, it would be pretty. I just grabbed this canvas because it was back there, and I said, you know, that's something that needs to be used. You know, that's going to irritate me. I have to make sure it's basted all the way around. Sorry. Yeah, this square is just going to be something I frame. And Mary was talking about she wants to be able to put her piece into her little book, her little book she's currently working on. And she said it's smaller than 6 by 6. She needs to measure it and let us know. Mary, let us know how big your piece would be so people can maybe aim for it in case they get to be your partner. And I wouldn't mind it being smaller, but the reason I did 6 by 6 is I wanted to have some space, you know, in each piece of fabric. Now, if you don't want to put 7 pieces of fabric on yours, you don't have to. You can put fewer pieces and have more room on each piece for embroidery and additions. I just thought this looked cool when I started layering it up. This is most definitely one of those projects that I would heavily endorse you putting you into it. Don't try to copy my techniques completely. I just want to get the inspiration out there and get you to come up with some ideas too. I have also seen people, I've never done this, but some of these boho pieces I've seen where they've stitched around a mirror. I don't know how to do that. Those tiny little mirrors. If you have broken pottery, you could stitch around and get it held on somehow. I just don't know how that's done. Carol could probably tell us. But she's got her hands full right now helping the children with their business. So I'm hoping she'll be back around some more. I miss stitching with her. Hence me trying my best to get going. And I know Jerry Bellini, you guys, Jerry's putting up videos again. And she has a video up with some stitching. And that might give you some other ideas as well. And I really like the concept of taking these two. These are all basted now. I'm going to back you up just a little bit. My 2 pieces are basted now. So they'll be like this. But now I'm thinking I'd like to put a piece of this across like that. And you see that's going to cover up one of the edges. I'm going to make it cover up both of them. So it'll be a little bit at an angle here. And I can tell on the back right there, I need to put a little glue. So we'll put a little glue on it. I could cut it and then put a little glue. I'm going to cut it. Oh, let me make sure. So put that there to there. So it's going to be right there. I need to glue those 2 threads on, but let's see what happens when I cut between the 2. And now let's put a little glue to keep that thread from, I had the cap off earlier. Yeah, broken jewelry would be cool if you could figure out how to sew it down. All right, I got a little of that. I'm just going to put that on there to hold that thread so it doesn't start going crazy here. And then I can put a little bit here, and that'll glue that thread down to the back so that I don't lose those beads. Now, can I set that glue there so it doesn't go everywhere? E6000 is messy. And then I'll just put this piece Let's see, where do I want to put this piece? Maybe at the more of the toward the top on this one? No. Well, if I put it across right there and I cut just past this, then I'll put a little glue. This is to keep this from coming unthreaded. You could just glue your trims down with like E6000 or fabric tack if you don't want to do this sewing. I'm going to leave that up to you guys, but I do want to keep that from coming unbeaded some. Just make sure it's not sitting on anything else or it will glue it to it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw that toothpick away. It would be cool to make a small boho book. It would. All right, so I've got glue on that end. This end is all, looks like it's tied off. So if I take this and I set it down on my piece, I've got that glue down at this end a little bit. I'll put some pins in here. Oh, let's see here. Why am I having trouble? Oh, that's hard to get through with that. Oh, that's that stupid pin that's got the glue on it. That's why I can't poke through. That's better. I must have used it to hold something or spread glue or clean a glue tip out or something. You might not want to add this trim until you've done some of your embroidery. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants tonight. So I may or may not regret this, but I think I do want to baste it down. And then this one, we'll just put maybe down here. I'm going to put it like that on this one. And the glue is on the back of that, so it's kind of sticking a little bit. Good night, Renee. Sleep well. I probably should go to bed, but Scott's watching videos and I'm having fun, so there you go. As one of my friends used to say, there you go. No matter where you go, there you are, she'd say. I don't know what ever became of her. After we graduated Orangeburg Calhoun Technical College with our associates in public service, I don't know what she did after that. Oh, I like that. So I'm going to baste these on real quick and then I'll call it a night. Marty, what was the answer to your question about the basting threads? I'm leaving them in. The basting threads are staying in. That one pin I cast aside, I am not putting it back in the pin cushion. It's going in the trash. You're welcome. Yeah, because I figure by the time we cover this with some embroidery and um, little attributes, embellishments and stuff, we're not going to see any of this blue stitching. And if we do, it's handmade, right? How much have you missed? Well, I've basted my fabrics down with the long stitch at the back. So they're just basically tacked on there. And then I was going to add this trim, and I've added my beaded trim. I wanted to hang off the bottom because I wanted to tuck the ribbon up under the edge of some of the fabric. So I've added that, and that's it. I'm basically just trying to get our background started here. And I was talking about maybe learning some stitches, like each week, maybe do 2 different stitches in 2 different blocks. And then that would cover us for like 3 weeks of Wednesdays. Or we could do it like I could come on a couple times a week for like two or 3 weeks, and we could finish it together that way. I want to do some standalone videos like crocheting a thread heart and maybe crocheting thread flowers that we could add to our pieces as well. So I'm doing just a tiny little stitch at the front, and then I'm making it go a ways down the ribbon, just so this is kind of tacked on here. You could add more to it and put, some other trim or embroidery stitch along the edge. I'm going to take this out. Get it out. There's Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Yeah, when I saw Mary wasn't on, I said, well, I can get us started on the boho project. And then by next Wednesday, maybe I can have it where we've had time to make some hearts and flowers too. So that means I need to do that video over the weekend. Tomorrow is the craft and chat through Shelley that some of us purchased during the auction. And so I'll be there for that, for some of it. And we're going to try to get some stuff done around the house this weekend. I'd like to get that, if it's not raining, I'd like to get those flower beds on the lower side of the house, get the trees cut out of them and get them cleaned up, because I know the neighbor boy next door would really appreciate that, since he just spent all that money on that beautiful new fence between us. And on my side of the fence, it just looks like a jungle. So I'd like to do that. I need to finish the laundry that I should have done today, but I spent the day in the recliner because I don't know why. Just felt so physically exhausted. Could not even stay awake for nothing. I didn't think to check my blood sugar to see what it was doing. I probably should have done that. I don't know. It was just weird. Next time I do that, y'all, I'm going to have to say something on Facebook so you can say, dummy, go check your blood sugar and see where your blood sugar is. I'm going to check it tonight before I go to bed. I'm feeling so much better now. I'm just thinking maybe I needed the sleep. So look, it's coming. It's already blinging up nice. So I think I'm going to use that variegated thread on mine so it kind of changes. And I want to look in that book that Kathy sent me for my birthday and find some stitches that maybe we haven't done yet with anybody. I know we've all done like chain stitches and things like that, but I thought it could be interesting to learn some others. My favorite stitch is the, what is it called? The moving flying geese. Is that it? Where it meanders. I like it because it looks like seaweed. Hi, Barb. Oh, good night, Janet. Be safe. All right. I'm going to base this one on and then I'll say good night too. And I'm sorry I forgot to turn the autofocus off. Let me throw that pin away while I'm thinking about it. It's just all gummed up. Oh, goodness. Oh, I still do. I want to add some of that black trim with the multi-beads. So maybe we'll add that another day. Because I just think that is so pretty. See how pretty that is? We're going to definitely add some of that. But for tonight, it's going to go back in the bag. Let me sew this other trim on. Baste it on. See if I can get my glasses to let me focus. I've been doing so good getting them threaded. Oh, come on. Come on, go through there. I was trying to get a cupcake idea to a previous coworker, Miss Helen, at Michael's. For every holiday, she'd bring in something special. So like at Thanksgiving, she brought in little cupcakes. Hi, Janet Burgess. She'd bring in cupcakes with turkeys on them. And then at Halloween, she'd bring cupcakes with like bats or ghosts or something on it. And so I saw one last night, it popped up, and I sent it to the gals that used to be our boss. And she said, unfortunately, that Miss Helen had to move because she didn't have anybody to help her locally. So, but she forwarded it to Miss Helen, and Helen loved it. But it was cupcakes with little green tree frogs on them, and they were so stinking adorable. But that would have been something that she would definitely have brought into work. I definitely can't have that kind of stuff now. This Monjaro, it makes you not want to eat. You just feel full all the time. If anything, it's hard to eat. And you definitely don't want to overeat or you will not be able to sleep because it's like sitting right on your throat all night long. Good news is lost 13 pounds already. Only about, let's see, I need to lose about 40 more according to the, the chart they all follow. Yeah, I've got the Dritz one in my cart since it does both small and large-eyed needles, but I'm waiting to order it till I find something else to bring my order to the $35 so I don't have to pay shipping because I'm cheap like that. And I don't have Prime. I refuse to pay for something I can get for nothing. That's just like giving him more money he doesn't need. But that's me. And I can wait. I don't have to have it right away. I'm doing okay threading him on my own tonight. Knock on wood. I am getting tired though, so I finish this up and then I'll show them to you and say goodnight. And then Monday morning, we'll do a prompt game. I'd like to do art on Mondays. So if you don't want to do sewing or something like that with me on Wednesday, you can come on Mondays or watch Monday's replay, because I know Kathy's still asleep, and so is Barbara Clark at 6:30 in the morning for me. But 6:30 in the morning on Monday, nobody else had it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take that time slot and run with it. And being on for about an hour, about 1:15 to 2:15 or 3 is pretty good for me on Wednesdays. I just can't go really late because I have to have dinner ready for the guys. Good news, Greg has a job interview on Tuesday, and he's just glad somebody's wanting to interview him right now. And I hope it goes well for him. And Scott's back to teaching 3 nights a week. I don't want to pop that back in the bag. I got to remember it's got wet E6000 on it, so I need to set it over on the sewing machine just to air dry for the night. That beaded this trim I'm sewing down where I glued it a little bit. All right, that's not going anywhere. I'm going to take that out of the way. Too early for Janet Burgess too? Is that what she's saying? It's called a witch threader. It's the little red one that you can put your pin in, but the Dritz one is like half the price, and it will thread 2 different needle sizes. If I can remember, I'll put that link down below too for the Dritz needle threader. You basically put the needle into the little hole at the top of it with the point up and your eye down inside it, and they've got a little lever, and when you press on it, it's got this little like finger comes out, and you just keep pressing it until you see the thread pop out where the little fingers popping out. And when a thread pops out, that usually means that it's gone through the hole of the needle. And then just pull the thread a little bit and then pull the needle up out, and it'll be threaded. I used to use it when I was a little girl. My grandma had one. All right, I'm going to tie this off, and I'm going to say goodnight too. So I've gotten my fabrics basted. I've got some of my trims started. I want to do that video to show you guys how to crochet your own little thread flowers and things to add if you want to. I might need to crochet some up. I could include them in Happy Mail. All right, so there we go. I got my 2 squares all prepped for Wednesday. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I will, Whimsy's Gardens and the link for the needle threader, I'll look those up and put them in the description box. Okay, so this is just to get you started. And Wednesday we'll start by learning. I'm going to look at learning a couple stitches that I could in turn teach to you on Wednesday. Okay, so I'll see you guys on Wednesday for this, and on Monday morning we'll do a prompt game to make postcards. Okay, bye guys. Oh, what is wood? You can use felt. You can use felt. If you don't want to use canvas, you can use felt, batting, canvas, whatever you have. Don't go out and spend a bunch of money. The whole idea is we're using stuff in our stash. Okay? And see, Kathy says she's using felt. I'm glad I saw that. Bye, guys.